The ELDERTUBBIES, a nightmarish eldritch version of the children's TV series Teletubbies that delves into the mysterious and bizarre elements of the original show, raising questions about the nature of the world and other surreal elements of the program. ELDERTUBBIES shows what happens to the Tubbies as they grow up. And by grow up, I mean grow into massive creatures of unknowable scale. The creator of ELDERTUBBIES, Jar Arts, created these new depictions of the now older classic 4 Tubbies, but also expanded the world with 3 new additions: ELDERTUBBIES Zoo, Snoo, and Erd. While I initially thought this was just a bit of world building to flesh out the Tubby universe and expand upon the implications of a Tubby species, I now see that these 3 new Tubbies have a symbolic connection to the themes of the original ELDERTUBBIES, and the original TV show as well. Let's start with Zoo, obviously named for the iconic Denzel Curry album.
Zoo.
ELDERTUBBIES Zoo represents the invention and integration of the internet, hence why he is the pioneer. This might sound a bit far-fetched, but bear with me here. Teletubbies had televisions in their bodies, and television was a very popular way that most people would consume video media at that time. If the world were to age, there would likely be Tubby forms that represent other ways to consume video media. ELDERTUBBIES Zoo amplifies faint signals from faraway places to show new content alien to anything these new Tubby nymphs have seen. It even specifies that his weird collection of curved back penises is actually a tunnel of antennae, tools that receive or send out signals. This is why he also comes before the 2 new Tubbies. You'll see why, but the existence of Snoo and Erd could not be relevant without first establishing ELDERTUBBIES Zoo. ELDERTUBBIES Snoo, as many of my viewers pointed out in the comments of the other ELDERTUBBIES videos, is a reference to Reddit. You can see from his weird little head dongle that Snoo is based off the Reddit mascot, who is also named Snoo, so that's enough proof for me. ELDERTUBBIES Snoo is more specifically a reference to the subreddit r/place. Abridged from the Wikipedia article on the subject, r/place is a recurring collaborative project hosted on Reddit. Originally launched on April Fool's Day 2017, the experiment involved an online canvas located at a subreddit called r/place. Users could edit the canvas by changing the color of a single pixel with a replacement from a 16-color palette. After each pixel was placed, a timer prevented the user from placing any more pixels for a period of time. It was ended by Reddit administrators 72 hours after its creation. Over 1 million users edited the canvas, placing a total of 16 million pixels. And, at the time of the experiment ending, over 90,000 users were actively viewing or editing the canvas. The parallels to the writing about ELDERTUBBIES Snoo are palpable. The belly screen was the subreddit canvas. The users watching were the viewers staring up at his belly. And the Reddit administrators shutting the program down is when Snoo's belly turned into a bunch of sparkles and went away. I would be remiss if I did not mention that many viewers expressed a dislike for this concept in the comments. And I can understand where they're coming from. I even thought the same thing at first. Oh boy, another Redditor inflating the importance of an already pompous message board where people mostly just butt-actually each other. If you bear with me to the end, I think I can piece together what the author is saying by including these references, and why, after looking deeply into the source material, I think it really improves the story. I don't even like Reddit. ELDERTUBBIE Erd, the Gatekeeper. He represents a challenge. To get through his tummy to the other side. To see something that is very hard to obtain access to. ELDERTUBBIE Erd represents the video game Elden Ring. He has the logo for the game as his little head dongle, and he's the only Tubby in the story that has Elden as his name prefix rather than Elder. Elden Ring, for those who don't know, is an RPG game notorious for its intense difficulty. The game all but requires you to temporarily turn into a basement dweller and spend days of your life without natural light to figure it out. People who are shit at video games, like myself, complain about this because you cannot change the difficulty setting like other games. So it means that not everybody who buys it can enjoy the full experience. Some people say that this enhances the experience because you have to work for it and learn about the game and its mechanics more deeply by spending hours dying. Personally, I wouldn't charge someone with no legs for a bus ticket and tell them they have to use the stairs to get on or they can't ride. I think that's actually a fucking crime, but sure, sell my dumbass Elden Ring with no easy mode. I'm not salty. As I mentioned earlier, all 3 of these ELDERTUBBIES are connected to each other by their symbolic representation. Reddit could not exist without the internet. You could make the argument that a form of non-downloadable, disc-only version of the Dark Souls franchise could exist, but the community around the game and the consensus on its gatekeeping style of difficulty would not be nearly as popular without the internet. It's the place that both of those communities were built upon. You might be saying, sure, they all connect with each other, But what the hell does all this have to do with the concept of Teletubbies in the first place? I got an answer for all your questions, smartass, so you might as well save them to the end. Eldertubbies is about how TV, and video media in general, grew up. Not only did the Tubbies grow up, but what they represented, media viewership, grew up too. Not only did it grow up, but it distorted and changed into forms that would be unknowable to those who were watching TV when the Tubbies first came on. Like if someone showed a 2000s person TikTok, they'd be convinced that the world really did end in 2012. The new Eldertubbies, Zoo, Erd, and Snoo, represent the new age of consuming media. If the Tubbies grew up, it would make sense that the landscape around them would update with the times. The Teletubbies fostered a community of fans when it was on TV. r/place fostered a community of fans when it's on the internet. And so did Elden Ring. I'm not sure if I would have picked the exact same examples, but I still think it's a really interesting and well-constructed way to develop this concept. Also, I'm literally extrapolating, so Jar Arts, if you see this, I'm sorry. I love your work. I'm an idiot. I might have gotten all this wrong. Who fucking knows? There are still some things I'm confused about in this lore. Mostly Mother Void, and who is the dad? It's not me. I have no idea what the hell all that's about, but if this video does well enough, maybe I'll come back and check out some more weird spooky shit. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with all notifications enabled, or I'll put a TV in your bowels. Shout out the inner circle. Love y'all.